everybody. I was browsing around the other day and I stumbled across one of the many homophobic videos here on YouTube. While the majority of these are funny and at the same time rather tragic, I think I could technically be classified as a masochist for sitting through the one I'm referring to. However, I'm also a bit of a sadist, so I felt I should share it with you, interspersed with a little of my own commentary. To save time, I'm going to go ahead and give you his intro, because he kind of rambles and he's a little bit disjointed, which isn't really conducive to me fucking with him. He also mumbles, so I'm going to put captions when he talks, because it took me turning up my volume all the way to hear him. He says that his beliefs about homosexuality are not based on the Bible, because he's not studied it. He's not studied the biblical stance on homosexuality. He's not studied the Levitical laws. He says that his arguments are based on common sense, which should be rather refreshing. I've yet to hear a common sense argument against something that people do that has no effect on you whatsoever. Anyway, let's get on to these non-biblical arguments.
I do believe that homosexual behavior is sin. It's sin against God and it's sin against your body.
If your reasons are based on common sense and not the Bible, why bring up God and why bring up sin? Can you at least try to stick with the premise that you claimed you would?
Okay, anal sex. Okay. With men having sex with men, a man putting his penis up another man's rectum. As much as we know about human anatomy, why do we not understand what's wrong with that, people? And if there is a God, which there most certainly is, and he created us, why would he want us to do something like that? It clearly causes disease, it's unnatural, and it causes all sorts of problems. It's an unhealthy, bad lifestyle and a bad habit.
Listen, sweet cheeks. Anal sex does not cause disease. It doesn't. It is impossible for it to cause disease. It can spread it. But so can vaginal intercourse and oral sex. And strictly speaking about STDs, because really any kind of human contact can spread a disease. Are you running off the assumption that AIDS and STDs are only present in the homosexual community? Because they're not. Heterosexual intercourse can spread just as many diseases. It's not as if it's some magical butt disease that you only catch from guy-on-guy sex. And even then, if you use a fucking condom, the chances of you spreading anything are slim to fucking none. Also, please tell me why it's unnatural. That I'm dying to hear, because it's really not, but go ahead. I know you've got a rebuttal.
Okay, and I don't know what kind of arguments people tend to use. Maybe they'll say, but you find this in nature, and so if we can see that animals do this, why shouldn't we do this? I mean, surely that can't be a good argument, because if you want to live like animals, we will, well, live like animals and experience what animals experience. I mean, animals, certain kinds of species eat their young, kill their children, their offspring. I mean, animals do all sorts of crazy things. They're wild and unruly. That's why we call it the wild. And nature is, there's a lot of beauty in nature, but nature is actually unruly and wild.
Really? That's your argument? That we're not animals, so that doesn't apply? It's still unnatural for us to engage in homosexuality or anal sex or what have you. Darling, I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. We're animals. You're a mammal, dude. I know, it's fucking awesome, isn't it? The idea that we're superior to any other species is bullshit. The only thing that separates us from most others is that at the moment, we're the top of the fucking food chain. We're the top species. And we're really only at the top of the food chain when either in groups or with weapons. Because really, get one human out there with some deadly fucking predator, the deadly predator's probably gonna win. Just throwing that out there. Also, your argument that we're different from animals because some animals will eat their young or kill their young. Guess what? Some fucked up members of our species do that too. If you want proof, go watch that crazy bitch Nancy Grace. She's talking about somebody new doing it every fucking day. Any other points that I don't want to laugh at? Anything?
Arguments. Another argument is that maybe we are certain people are genetically predisposed to be homosexual. Okay, well, here's my answer to that. The scriptures clearly teach that the flesh, which you can decide as a metaphor if you want, but I don't see it as a metaphor. The flesh, yes, this actual body of ours is at enmity with God. We all have different destructive propensities, and we're all descendants of Adam and Eve. But the flesh is at enmity with God. So if it doesn't make its way into homosexuality, it makes its way into another form of sin.
Genetically predisposed. I'm assuming what you're referring to is where people say that they're born that way. Do me a favor. Don't use words when you don't know what the fuck they mean. I don't pretend to know a lot about genetics. I know, like, this much. You probably know even less than that. So, don't insult the people that study this and can reference it without looking like an asshole by doing it yourself. Let's see. You're using words when you don't know what they mean. You went back to a biblical reference, and you're irritating the hell out of me. So now, I'm just gonna pick on you. Get ready for a quote line.
Great, whatever. You talk about some pretty disturbing things in your sex jokes, and things apparently that you practice in sex. Such as what you call a blowjob.
Yes. Blowjobs are such horrible things.
Sexual intercourse, healthy sexual intercourse, and let's just tell it like it is. Slot A goes into slot B, okay?
You know, with knowledge like that, you should teach sexual education. I think that would work better than any abstinence program ever. Telling someone that sex is slot A goes into slot B and that's it. Really, I mean, teen pregnancy would dissipate.
And you can go ahead and ridicule me for being a virgin and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about till I try it. You're an idiot. Okay?
You know what? I'm actually not going to ridicule you for being a virgin. Because that's actually quite admirable. It takes a lot of willpower to stick to your beliefs in that manner. However, I think I speak for everyone out there when I say, I fucking called it.